Hey, how you doing? It's me, Michael. This time, I'm interviewing a person that is very close to my heart. Even though we never met, it seems as if we somehow clicked and the energy is very high on this interview. It's Miriam from LazyJackPress.com. She's doing similar thing to me. She's making accessories. She's actually making men and women look smarter, look nicer. She's producing quality ties, bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, anything you can think of. If you think about starting a new business, finding suppliers, finding markets where you can sell your goods, you're going to enjoy this interview. It's an hour long, filled with amazing knowledge about the market, about suppliers, about where you can get advice about your business. Wow. If you're not going to listen to this and watch this, you are doing yourself this service. Enjoy this one. Miriam, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Hello and welcome to yet another Making Men Look Smarter podcast. If you only listening to this, but if you're watching to this, you see me again, not being alone. I'm here with a guest, and it's a special guest again because this guest I don't know personally, but I believe that we've got lots of things in common. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hello. Let us sort of introduce yourself. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever you think. What you do, where you're from, what's your background, what you do, like how, where you kick butt. We want to know that.
Okay, well, my name is Miriam. I'm the founder and CEO of Lazy Jack Press. We make preppy men's accessories, but all on the finest quality silk, made in Italy, but I design them in New York. I came that way by way of law school. I
Uh-huh.
graduated from law school
Jesus. Okay.
and did not want to be a lawyer at
Wow.
all.
When did you find out you don't want to be a lawyer? Like, was it
Before I
through law
applied,
school? Like, oh God, I hate this. Moving paper about. That's not what I want to do.
moving paper about and all those things, and but really it was when I was studying for the bar exam. I made it all the way
Wow.
through, and I was sitting at one of the university clubs
Mhm.
drinking a cocktail and studying for the bar exam, probably
Mhm.
not the best combination. And I was thinking to myself, there has to be something better than
Uh-huh.
what I'm doing right now. I
Okay.
cannot imagine doing this for the rest of my life.
Wow. Okay. I bel I could imagine that there is lots of people going through the same process of sort of being there, studying whatever they're doing, and all of a sudden realizing it's not for them, and then what? And that's sort of that's difficult. So okay,
Scary part.
so right from bar exam, sitting in a cocktail in a bar to making bow ties, like how? Doesn't
So
make any
I had
sense.
gone to my college 5-year alumni
Yeah.
reunion thing,
Okay.
and I went to a really, really small private college on the East Coast,
Okay. When was
Dickinson
that?
College. Yay.
When was
When
that?
was that? Oh, 2002 to 2006.
Right, okay. And then
Made
the
the
reunion
best
was
years.
what?
My
Your reunion was recent? When was the reunion we're
reunion
talking?
was okay. No, way to make me feel even older. The reunion was in 2011.
Wow, okay. So 2011, you sort of thinking about doing or not doing the law. You going to reunion, and then what happens?
No, I went to the reunion and, I was in a sorority, so I hung out with all
Hmm.
my sorority sisters,
Hmm.
fraternity friends. We're drinking out of red Solo cups. Fast forward to brunch on Sunday after the
Hmm.
weekend. We go to the nicest hotel in the area,
Hmm.
and I see these really god awful ties. It was in Hershey, Pennsylvania, with
Uh-huh.
chocolate kisses like this big on there. And I was like, this must be the worst tie ever made on this planet.
Okay,
And it
okay.
was limp and it was plasticky. And I
Uh-huh.
turned it over and it was one of the most famous prep brands. So that's when the gears started
Uh-huh.
slowly turning.
Right.
And that's when, I was like, I can make something better than this. It's a shame
Hmm.
that, these young professionals, these college kids are
Hmm.
buying, this $89 tie that just is absolutely atrocious on all levels. And then
Hmm.
fast forward, I, you know, stopped in the NHL store, to use a ladies' room one day back in New York,
Uh-huh.
saw the same thing, the most atrocious ties, just
Okay.
objectively.
Right.
And so that's when I decided I could do better. But from that reunion, drinking out of little red Solo cups, I approached Barney's with a drawing of it as well
Mhm.
as with the mill information. And that's when I really got started,
Right.
which
Okay.
was dumb luck. It would never happen again.
Yeah, exactly, because that sounds like sort of lots of things sort of were in your favor in terms of someone obviously read it, someone replied to you, someone noticed that, or did you have a contact in there, or was it just purely luck? Or not luck, but like in a way that purely sort of well, to whom it may concern kind of thing, or was it
May concern,
Jesus?
yes.
Okay,
And the two ladies, the head buyer and the assistant buyer, were, living out their sorority days in their head. So that was
wow.
so lucky because then, I sat down at the meeting, Devil
Hmm.
Wear Prada style, on one end of the conference table, they're on the other. And they're like, we love it. We love the mill. We love everything. But what other ideas do you have? And I don't know. I wasn't thinking about it. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I have chicken and eggs. What else do we do that weekend? Irish carvos, all sorts of things.
Wow. Okay.
And so
And
they
they
said,
like,
come.
yes, we love it. We want to buy all of it.
Yeah, and they loved it. And if it were an older gentleman or an older lady, I
Hmm.
think they would have looked at me like I had lobsters crawling out of my ears, and that would have been that.
Okay. So that, but obviously that is very beginning. So they saying we like you, we trust you, we understand what you're trying to do here, and then what? Then you have to sort of start thinking of where do I get this from? What's the material? What website? Like where do you start from there?
So I always knew I was going to make it on 21 Mummy Hermes silk. However, not always. The very beginning, I had a business partner at the
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
Didn't end. He was all into the Made in America craze and
Okay.
Made in New York and all that. And
Okay.
we had these ties made um, on 18-ounce silk, which, as
Uh-huh.
you know, is pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And I showed my mom, who's very into fashion, what I was doing
Hmm.
instead of using all her
Hmm.
money from law
Hmm.
school. And
Hmm.
she was like, this is an embarrassment. You absolutely cannot sell ties with this 18-ounce silk.
Hmm.
She's like,
Hmm.
compare these to your dad's Hermes ties. These are, I'm
Hmm.
ashamed. So
Hmm.
that's when we moved to Italy.
Hmm.
That and then an unfortunate incident with the mill in New York where I went instead of my business partner, who was male,
Hmm.
um, drop off labels, and
Hmm.
they flipped out because they were very religious and
Hmm.
they didn't believe that a woman should be in business. So we had a very heated moment,
Jesus. Okay.
shall we say, and
Uh-huh.
I was like, you made a huge mistake,
Yeah. Yeah,
huge
yeah.
mistake.
Right.
And then they're still trying to get my business back.
Right. But is it okay? So what happens then? You then on your own, right?
I'm
Okay.
on my own, just trying things slowly. That was oh my God, that's 6 years ago,
Hmm.
almost 6 years ago in a week. That's crazy.
Wow. Okay. So then you're on your own, and you're like, okay, there was two of us in the business. Now it's only me, and I still have to figure things out. So
Much better, just me, by the way.
yeah, well, I mean, tell me about it. Yes, but is it? But then you what? You start thinking, right? I need to do different products because I had a feedback that maybe a heavier cloth would be better for that. And then you start looking into what you straight away went to Italy. You start looking
So
into that.
the agent that represented the mill in New York also represented the mill in Italy. And I
Nice.
told him about
Okay.
the exchange. It
Uh-huh.
was the son of the owner. And the
Okay.
owner, is a Holocaust survivor, really
Yeah.
amazing guy, but he wasn't there that day. It was his son
Yeah.
who was far from pleasant. And,
Yeah.
apparently the owner called the agent and told him what happened.
Right.
So the agent in New York was like, I have this great mill for you in Italy.
Right.
And then I've never looked back.
Oh, so you were since then you've been using one mill in Italy. That's the people who you visited recently, right?
Yes, those are the people I visited. They're
Okay.
amazing. They do Brunello Cucinelli. They do, Ralph Lauren Purple Label, and
Hmm.
then they do me. So
Wow,
pretty
amazing.
lucky again
But
on
look,
that.
I mean, it's so incredible. Like people don't understand this that it happened because you've been introduced. You were someone who said to you, right, let me show you. I've got someone in Italy who I've been using, and all of a sudden you got that. Whereas it doesn't like you have to culture the relationship. You have to make sure that you've got those relationships because otherwise, like you could have been just literally going online,
Oh,
Italy.com, find 50,000 meals, right? And trying that way and figure things out. And before you know, the quality, like, there'll be so many mistakes that you could have made, but you didn't because you were
I
sort of
made
starting
plenty,
from
don't
that,
worry.
which is amazing, right? But it's true, like it has to be like it's so important to do that and to
You
understand that
just
this
have
is
to
part of
find
the
a mill
process.
that you're so comfortable with and you
Mm,
trust them.
mm,
And, at first they were scratching their heads, like red solo cups, kegs and eggs, beer goggles. What are
yeah,
these
yeah.
phrases? But now they're, my newest one is camel toe. And,
Uh-huh.
Francesco was like, what's that?
Yeah.
And I left it to the agent to explain it. And that was really
Yeah.
awkward. 5 seconds.
Yeah. Just don't Google that. Or if you do, just clear your browser history after that. So,
Exactly.
mhm. Right. Okay. So how I found you and obviously heard about you because there is gazillions of brands like us, like in even UK and the US, as small shops, usually sole traders, small limited company or LLCs that are trying to sort of figure things out on their own, selling here, there, and everywhere. Making sort of money, but it's not millions. It's probably thousands, if anything. And then you think, okay, how did I find about you? How did I find you online? And it was through Reddit, which is super interesting. Let's talk about Reddit because Reddit to me is I don't know what to think about Reddit because I've tried um, a few times. I tried advertising on Reddit. I got absolutely bombarded, slashed, killed. So I had to kill the account
Really?
because it was just not it was hate everywhere. Okay,
Why?
yeah. So that was that. So then I tried.
You didn't like the way you dress? You're amazing.
It was just unbelievable. It was honestly, if you had a thinner skin, you would want to not
Have a
be there.
penis.
It's so okay. So then I tried like have different accounts. So I've then hired consultants for Reddit. You can find them online like Upwork.com or something. Someone who can not advertise but sort of promote you, but not directly. It's more like through some sort of opinions about your brand and things like that. So it's not completely white hat, but it's not black hat either. It's kind of in the middle of them expressing, an idea or an opinion about your brand, but they've got big accounts, big followers, that kind of thing. So I've tried that. Also, completely got wiped out, got blocked. My site got blocked from few subreddits. I was like, what's going on here? Like, why? But we're subtly talking about ties and this and the difference between this knot and this knot. And people sniffed straight away that I'm trying to sell something. I wasn't even there. The agent was. So they got panicked. They was like, no, 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 we can't cooperate with you. It seems as if your account is somehow flagged, your brand is somehow flagged. So whenever we mention Men's Finest, it's sort of okay. So I then thought, right, let me just have another go. So I created another account. I've tried it again, and it's like it's huge amount of people there, thousands, millions of people reading Reddits, but I somehow I don't know I wasn't. Maybe my message is wrong. I don't know. How did you do that? That you somehow ended up on Reddit entrepreneurship page, read by I don't know 200,000 people. Something watched that page and like
It was
thousands of
crazy.
comments.
Oh, so I got asked to be interviewed at Starter Story, and it was a really nice guy, and he asked me about how I started,
Hmm.
and I gave him the I filled it was a interview that I just typed out, so I filled it out
Yeah.
gladly, forgot about it. I was in Miami, and I was leaving to go to the airport, and this guy emails me. I think
Hmm.
emails or text. And he was like, just so you know, you went viral on Reddit. And I'm like, I don't even know what Reddit is. What is this? I mean, I've
Yes.
heard of it, but I don't know what this is. And he's like, just FYI, you're gonna have a lot of people who tear you apart. Just be ready. And
Yes.
I literally we're on our way to the airport. I'm getting in the Uber with my luggage, and I'm
Yes.
like, this can't be. And he's like, you have to answer all the questions.
Yes.
But I'm like, this is the worst timing. Like, I wish you had we had coordinated or something. And he's like, trust me, I put everything on Reddit and nothing has happened yet. So I wasn't exactly certain that this would happen.
Yes.
So that was a really cool experience. So for the next 24 hours, I was basically up answering questions.
Hmm.
And people were pretty much everyone was nice. A couple people were like, "Oh wow, $95
Mm,
for a tie is a
mm,
lot. You know,
mm,
you can get it
mm.
for like 20." And I'm like,
Yes. Yes, get it all the time. Like, of course, you get it all. Oh, you can buy it for five. Go and
I
buy
know.
it. Go and buy it for five. Like, do you want me to give you a recommendation where you should go and buy it for five? Like, it's insane how people
I
are like, ah,
and
yes.
I was like, for the quality and
Hmm.
everything, it's actually pretty good if you compare it
Yeah.
to the
Mm.
people who are making it on. And and then someone else was saying, "Oh, this is like for frat guys," and I was like, "I have a lot of things for frat guys. That's pretty much how I started, but I have a lot
Mm.
of really elegant conservative ties
Mm.
as well. Like
Mm.
if you looked at the website, maybe you would
Yeah.
see."
Yeah.
But otherwise, people were like, "Oh, you inspired me to start my
Hmm.
project,"
Hmm.
and so it was a really, really, really cool experience. I didn't
Hmm.
like putting how much I make on there,
Hmm. Hmm.
but I
Hmm.
didn't have a choice.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a very catchy title. I think it's titled 21K a month selling clothes to frat boys,
I
which,
think that's so tacky.
but
I
it's,
think it's
but
so
it's
tacky.
literally like, how much a month, frat boys? What's going on here? Like, you have to listen to this. Like, you have to read this. It's not something you can sort of skim over and it's like, another 21K a month story. It doesn't sound like it. So, okay, but whether those numbers are what they are, or that was just a few months, or how you're doing, it's up to you whether you want to say this or not. But how did you
Sure.
sort of get to levels? Let's say 21K is the average, is the minimum, is the maximum, is the sort of what you do normally?
It's the average.
Right.
So, and every year,
Hmm.
luckily, the business has changed
Hmm.
completely. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like already this year, the
Uh-huh.
business is totally different than last year.
Okay.
But last year, I saw a
How do
lot
you
of growth.
mean totally different?
I mean, at the beginning when I had the business partner, if we sold two ties a month, I mean, we were so ecstatic.
Okay, okay. But that's how it starts. Like, it's fine.
How it
This is where
started.
it is, right?
And obviously attending the same trade shows really helps.
Hmm.
Then I was on a TV show, Billion Dollar Buyer, on
Hmm.
CNBC
Hmm.
here in the US. That really helped. That was last January, a year
Hmm.
ago,
Hmm.
almost a year and a half ago, geez. And that really helped to build awareness because I see the same names pop up on my customer page, which
Good.
is a great sign. But the best thing is the holiday pop ups that I do here in New York.
Okay,
I
tell
do
me more
two of
about it. Yes.
and it's the same people. I see them year after year, whether they're local or visiting from Europe, from
Hmm.
Australia,
Hmm.
from other parts of the US, and they are like, "Oh, we bought your tie, 2 years ago. It's amazing. Now we want this, 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 and this. It's amazing. We love it. Oh
Wow.
my God."
Wow.
Almost like a hidden gem type thing.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so that's really where
But okay,
the
but how do you, there is obviously plenty of events like this in New York, other places. No doubt you can sort of book a table probably every week at some sort of events.
yeah.
How do you pick and choose the ones that they are good? How do you find
I
that?
used to. I mean, I started when I started at the beginning. I did Artist and Fleas in
Hmm.
Brooklyn, and I would
Okay.
rent a table for
Hmm.
$100, and I would sit there all weekend, and everyone was hipster and looking at me because I'm the enemy, the preppy one.
Yeah.
I would get the occasional Wall Street banker come
Mm.
by,
Mm.
and I make $400 on the weekend,
Hmm.
better than sitting on my couch.
Hmm.
But then you also have to balance. It's a luxury brand. I don't want to be doing that.
Mm. Exactly that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I have a lot of great. I still have customers from that era, so that was great. Um, but the holiday markets, I feel like for the holidays, people who ordinarily don't spend that kind of
Mm.
money are
Mm.
just like the holidays. This is my
True.
excuse to spend this money on a tie, and then
Hmm. Hmm.
those connections then sort of go year round. I had a gentleman today who bought two of my at your service tennis bow ties. And he
Okay.
wrote me a little email saying, "I bought 5 bow ties from you during the holidays. I live in Texas, but I love them. And this is for, an event." And so I really love, seeing the repeat
Sure.
customers.
But of course, those people who come to your event or when you are at the event, they obviously look at the tie, they touch it, they talk to you, they like you, they because they got like a personal touch. And obviously, they buy something because they like the quality, and then they walk away. you actually don't know their name, you don't know their address, you don't know
A
where they're
lot of times I
from.
know their whole story by the
Right.
time they
Okay. 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 No, because it's super interesting
yeah.
because how you can then sort of talk to them again. Like if you want to, if the guy bought 5 bow ties of you last winter, you're like, he must be really liking my stuff. How do I say to him that I've got new tennis, ties on sale? Like you would want to give him
And I
the
don't,
pleasure of coming back.
yeah, so that's the one thing I don't do is I don't
Uh-huh.
email customers with,
Okay.
I don't bombard them because I get annoyed when I get bombarded.
Okay.
Um, and I think that's something I should do. I signed up with a service called, I have no idea what it's called.
.com. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Something,
Uh-huh.
and they send out emails to your customers
Okay.
and, specific like thank you emails. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I just sort of do it now. Like if someone orders, I write them a personal thank you note and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sort of hope that they like it enough to follow along on social
Sure.
media or
Sure.
the brand's journey. But yeah, I haven't been bombarding people, but I
Okay.
know it's effective.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's everyone keeps saying this, like that there is the amount of people that you can reach is obviously a far greater on social media, and you can do this and that, and but then you've got those 2,000 people on your email list that actually either past customers or someone who's been actively sort of searching and finding and want to subscribe to your newsletter for offers and things like that. So there's 2,000 people accumulated over a few years, and you email them and they like 60% open rate. Because they see you and it's like, oh, what's new? You don't have that anywhere else. And I've never been doing sort of email marketing. I had, I think, 3,000 emails collected over time, like maybe 3, 4 years time. And I was never sort of doing anything with them. I was similar to you. I was like, I never liked to receive those emails anyhow, so why should I send them? And then I spoke to a guy who was doing copywriting for different brands, sort of similar small brands, but not fashion related, but could be beauty related or something. And he's here from Liverpool in the UK, and we got together. He's a friend of a friend, and he said, "Oh, how is your email campaign schedule?" I was like, "No, I'm not sending them." And he's like, "Dude, this needs to stop now. Like, we need to start doing emails." I was like, "Yeah, but I don't feel it." He was like, "No, no, no. You don't sell anything on emails." I was like, how do you mean? He was like, "No, no, no. You just provide them value. So you say 5 most interesting trends in ties." How to do this most obnoxious, or don't do this what this guy did, and you tell a story. Or I had this stupid experience today, and that's the headline of the email, and then you say, and I was like, oh, okay, so is that what people read?
Interesting.
Completely sort of not. Here is 20% off coupon. It's more like, this is how ridiculous tie, the most ridiculous, most expensive tie. Have you seen the most expensive tie ever made? People are like, what's this? Because if they've been your past customers, they know you, they like you. They're most likely gonna, go and buy from you again, because the repeat customers is the easy customer to market to, right? So we've been starting doing this, and really, I was like, no, no, no way we can
Is it
have like
working?
it's like 40-50% opening email rates, which is unheard of. Like if you have got big email lists, you get 10, 15, that's the sort of average standard. But if you got 40, 50, 35 on like some of the emails that we've got, and I think we put like maybe 20 emails so far over maybe last month. I literally been starting doing this, maybe more, maybe 2 rounds, and we only had one sales email, like a sales, you're like, oh, if you like what we do, this is what it is, special offer just for you guys, da-da-da, for this. And we had, I think, 20% off, which we don't usually do any sort of promotions like that, unless it's like super, influencer deal or something like that. And then we had a few sales on the back of that, and people say, oh yeah, I didn't want a tie, but you know they clicked and they're like, oh, 20%. Yeah, let's buy it. And it's just amazing. So it's never going to be as if that's going to, completely change my business, I don't think, because the email list is too small. I mean, I'm going to grow that email list by providing more
Sure.
content and things like that, but it's never going to be 200,000 emails. I don't think that's
Never
going to be
know.
ever that big. I mean,
Never
it's
know.
you never know, but I'm thinking of the size of the market. Like there is only limited amount of people that want to buy a tie, or bow tie or things like that. Well, I mean, it's yeah. I mean, tell me straight, tell me different.
I mean, here in the US, it's different.
Uh-huh.
Obviously the country is very divided,
Yes.
but here in New York, most of the bankers still wear ties.
Uh-huh.
But I'm finding that a lot of my customers are from the South. In the South,
Okay.
they wear bow ties to football games,
Wow.
which
Okay.
is great.
Right.
Um, so that's great. But I'm from San Francisco originally.
Hmm.
Nobody wears a tie. Nobody.
So you're like, yes, I can sell to everyone but them. Okay.
But them, and then the middle of the country is getting kind of preppy too. So
Hmm.
it's really the West Coast and Hawaii and
Okay. But is that where your focus is in terms of sort of marketing activities? Is that where you're sort of looking at sort of west, south, and places like that where you place your marketing activities, or you don't do anything significant at the moment?
nothing significant. And
Hmm.
when I do it, it's in the South and New England where I
Hmm.
know people are.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I just don't have much success in it. I'm not willing to put I have a friend
Yeah.
who has a wine company and he's like, I spend $15,000 a day. Or maybe it's a week. I don't know. It's $15,000 in a
Yeah.
less than a month
Yeah.
period. And he's like, and I see all these returns. And that's just a risk that I cannot take.
But I mean, yeah, talking about ads, because we testing a lot of things at the moment in terms of ads here for men's finance, which is very similar brand to use in terms of the same niche, but of course completely different products. But it's we testing a lot of things on Facebook in terms of videos and coupons and what's not. And it's okay. I mean, we don't see any huge returns. I mean, we're looking at spending maybe 300-400 pounds, which is like $500 a month. So we're not doing thousands
I think
yet.
I have to
But
spend a
it's
lot more than that.
yeah, but it's also like, what happens if we do spend two grand a month? Like, I think we're going to try at some point to spend two or three and see if that's actually going to do anything. Because if it makes you fall, you just keep on doing that.
I mean, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
But then what happens if you just lose it? Because
true.
see, now that, things are sort of rolling along,
Mm,
I have all these
mm,
great opportunities that
mm.
present themselves. And, the holidays, I obviously have more money than I have now. I just opened a store in East Hampton.
Let's talk about that. Store,
Um,
online presence, all of a sudden physical store. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to do
again,
that?
got approached by a lady I was next to. I did a pop up in Grand Central
Hmm.
Station twice now. And she was my neighbor. She sells jewelry and art. Really nice lady. And she was the only one who around 5 o'clock, because you're there from 7:30 in the morning until 8 at night.
Hmm.
So it's a
Wow.
long day. So
Wow.
around 5, there was a beer store right behind me. I could almost touch it. Like, let's get some drinks or some wine
Uh,
and everyone was like, oh no, we're at work. And she was like, let's do it. So we became friendly. We stayed in touch,
uh,
and she was like, I want to do a pop up in East Hampton
uh,
for the summer.
uh,
The property she was looking at fell through,
uh,
and she approached me again and was like, okay, now it's for 3 years.
uh,
But
uh,
next to Ella Cucinelli and Ralph Lauren could be great, jewelry and art with ties. We're not in competition.
true.
And I was like, that's great, but I can't run it because I'm potentially moving to San Francisco this summer. I'm getting married this summer. I have a lot of stuff on my plate.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
So she's like, no, 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 I'm gonna run it. You come whenever you'd like, no pressure.
That's good.
But the problem is because I'm involved with the brand, obviously I want to be there all the time. But it's
Hmm.
impossible. I mean, it's impossible to be there all
Sure.
the time.
Sure.
So I have to run the
Because
business.
your activity is still going to be primarily online and pop-ups. Is that still what you
Pop-ups
want to
and
do?
trade shows.
Okay, trade shows as well. Trade shows as a visitor or as an exhibitor? Someone who's going to.
Exhibitor.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
Just
I do.
just so you can have more, like how do you call him? Like a stockist, someone who stocks your product. Is that what you want to do? You want to?
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Wholesale. So I'm
Hmm.
in, I
Hmm.
don't know, about 50 some odd stores now.
Massive.
Um,
Okay.
I mean, small stores,
But
but
amazing. Like Jesus
yeah,
Christ. Yes. Credit to you,
but
of course.
it's amazing. I think it's so. I think it's amazing, like,
Mm,
and the smaller boutiques get so excited when I have something new. I'll
mm,
email them and I'll say, look what I have that's new, the camel toe.
mm,
And they're just
mm.
like, oh my God,
All right,
yours.
this is so amazing. This is so creepy. Let's take 10.
But I
Yes.
need all of the camel toe.
Yeah. True. And what do they do? Do they buy off you directly, or is it return or sale or return kind of situation?
No,
So no,
no,
you
no, no.
no, you wholesale them directly.
I
With the
wholesale to
packaging,
them.
do you do that? Do you like sell the whole caboodle, or do you just
It's up
sell?
to them.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
They choose what they want.
Hmm.
They choose what they want. I don't do consignment. I don't want to be like worried about, you know,
Returns and things like that.
I
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I tell everyone to start off small, and
Uh-huh.
then I have people like, I sold them all, send more today. A couple times a month. This one lady in Texas is awesome.
Wow. Wow.
Um,
Okay.
so it's another avenue.
Uh-huh.
Lets me get the ties in other parts of the country,
Get the name out there as well, I guess.
get the name
Right.
out there. So
Mm.
it's really, it's a great thing to do.
Okay. So, what would you say was the sort of the most important thing you've done so far for the business to sort of grow at the level? I mean, 21K and on average is impressive by any means. In a way that anyone who runs any businesses, especially solo businesses, all of a sudden those figures, they all of a sudden are 21K a month turnover means okay, you've got money to sort of play with, right? As opposed to two or
And
three
right
k.
now,
Well, I mean, it's obviously because you had lots of expenses, I guess. But it's
oh my
um,
God.
yeah, but
And
it's
taxes are
it's
killer.
you had what?
American taxes are a
Right,
killer.
right, okay. I thought America is actually paying a lot less than Britain in taxes.
You
We
might,
pay corporation
just,
tax 21% on profits, and that's more or less all we pay. Obviously, you pay VAT, but you've got that as well, I guess.
oh
But
yeah,
you've got like a federal taxes, you've got all sorts of things, right?
state taxes,
Nice.
every
Every
tax
tax you can
exists.
possibly think of. You got it. Okay. Yeah, okay. So what would you say is the sort of most important thing for you to grow to those levels? And of course, grow beyond that because that's no doubt what you're going to be looking at. Like what's been best so far and what's going to be the next move?
I think that the best thing so far, surprisingly, has
Hmm.
been the holiday pop-up market. I think
Crazy.
5 weeks you make 100,000 ish,
Jesus. Okay.
and
But
so
how you can
make
only visit so many pop-up stores in a week, in a month, and the holiday period is short. Like the holiday period is what, 4 weeks maybe at a push?
I mean, I'm surprised there's no Christmas tree decorations at the drugstore across the
Yeah.
street. They
Yeah,
they rolled it
yeah,
out
yeah.
earlier and earlier.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
but I do it at Bryant Park. So it's a
Hmm.
holiday village with the
Uh-huh.
ice skating. And so it's a
Okay.
destination. And I do it
Okay.
at Columbus Circle. And so it's a destination for people who, come. And, there's all the people like with their fanny packs and,
Hmm.
their
Hmm.
sandals with their socks. And they're like, you know, 95 for a tie, you're out
Yeah.
of your mind. So
Yeah.
you get those people too, but then you get,
Of
the
course.
awesome people as well. It's a mix.
Hmm.
And when it's raining, you have 0 people. On a Saturday, you need like 3 people in this little spot. So it's really, really, really fun. And then the
Hmm.
trade shows, you need the trade shows. It's a
Hmm.
necessary evil.
Hmm.
No way around it, really.
The trade
Sort
shows
of
are
like,
usually more expensive, I would imagine, than the pop-up
yes.
stores. You do pay a lot for your stand. Do you still get, because we've seen obviously in the UK here, those trade shows are still kind of important, but they kind of tried and true, and they're okay, they're working okay, but it's never been. It's very often you see the same people every year, and same people asking the same questions, and same people asking those have got those demands about the prices and the 5 to 1 or 4 to 1 markup they want to have, and all sorts of things like that. Do you see that still, apart from necessary evil? Do you still see that being sort of people where a place where people meet and obviously get to know you, get to know the brand is still valid?
There's still value in it. It's
Hmm.
not amazing. I never
Hmm.
leave a show
Yeah,
and have the show paid for, on the
yeah,
spot. It's
yeah,
all these connections after
yeah.
and following up and they're like, "Oh, we'll place an order, we'll email you." And I'm like, but I'm here. Just do it now.
Yeah.
Less paper. Let's
Yes.
go.
Yes.
But each show that I do, I am seeing, higher returns. I just started Atlanta. I did Atlanta in January in the temporaries, but now I'm going to join two preppy brands, women's brands,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll be the men's part
Mm-hmm.
in a showroom, which will be
Mm-hmm.
exciting. I
Mm-hmm.
think we'll see.
Okay.
And but I stopped doing the menswear show because I was in modern prep, and all the modern prep people would copy me because I had like a poster with chick magnet on it, or whatever on it, and then the next show they'd be like, "Oh, chick magnet." I'm like, "No, you didn't come up with that on your own. You were standing right across from me, 10 feet away, with their own ideas."
Okay.
So I stopped doing it. And then,
Okay.
buyers would come in, and then, the old guys that have been at these trade shows for years would escort them out and be like, no, 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 come to our brand, come to our brand. I don't like that stuff. I do the gift show.
Mm.
The neighbors are nice. The neighbors aren't in competition. If you run to the ladies' room or to get coffee, they are so happy to cover for you for
True.
5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different atmosphere.
True.
The men's show is like law school. I want to stay far away from that.
Very good. Okay, so we've got a trade shows. If anyone wants to sort of interested is in starting anything related to fashion brand, okay, trade shows, pop-up stores, sort of find good distributor, perhaps overseas. Why didn't you go for American sort of made in American brands because you couldn't find anyone?
No, I had that mill
Yeah,
in New
you
York,
so you had that guy, okay, but
but it
because of
just
bad experience.
you can't compare to
Right.
European made products. You just absolutely
Interesting.
it's really, really sad. Like one of the best countries in the world can't, figure it out.
Mm.
It's just not the same.
Interesting. Okay, so
And
we got all of those things. So obviously find maybe even sort of someone in any overseas countries that can actually produce. Obviously, Italians are famously obviously famous from doing any sort of fashion stuff. So they obviously get there.
take your time.
Yes, I'm actually going to Florence next month for PT Uomo. Obviously,
Nice.
the biggest fashion and the most peacocky fashion event ever out there. So that's going to be amazing. I've been there twice so far, 2 years in a row, and it's experience. It's
I
you
want to
see a
see what
lot
you
more
have to
colors
share.
than this. You see a lot more colors than red and blue. You see,
No, I love it.
yeah, it's amazing.
Definitely want to see what you're gonna wear to that.
Yeah, I'm debating this right now. How wild should I go? Right.
Do
Okay.
it.
So do it. Now, okay. Going forward, what's something that is going to keep you occupied and keep the business growing? 2018, probably onwards, but let's focus on 2018. What's the sort of focus for you?
So the focus is this new boutique that we had the grand
Okay.
opening on Saturday.
Hmm.
So we'll see. That should be pretty good.
Hmm.
Great crowd out in East Hampton.
Hmm.
Always coming out with new designs and new
Hmm.
things. I also do a lot of custom for organizations
Interesting.
or
How
things.
do you
Yeah.
approach them? How do you find them? How do
No, they
you
find
go?
me.
Right. Okay.
They find me.
Okay, so you don't
Um,
do any active sort of reach to organizations say, we're doing this, we're doing that. No,
no,
they.
again, I should. I
Okay,
do.
no, 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 it works, so it's fine. I mean, it's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of them are, customers of mine, and they, like the cheeky kiwi tie and pocket square and bow tie
Hmm.
that I have. It
Oh,
was a really nice Wall Street guy, and he was getting married, and he bought, so many things for me over the years. And he was like, "Wait a minute, do you do custom? I would love to do something for my wedding party." And, I
mm,
was like, "Of course I do." And
yeah.
he's like, "Well, my dad is from New Zealand. Do you
Uh-huh.
have any ideas?"
Uh-huh.
I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Kiwi,
Uh-huh.
kiwi bird." So, and then that one I kept in the line because it was cute. But, for logos of schools or organizations, I actually did the Boots of London and Walgreens merge. That was my first big order
Nice.
when I was on my own that kind of kept me afloat. I was about to give up at that point.
Nice.
And so I did it for all their people worldwide. And but that was in China because they didn't care about Italian made.
Yeah, okay. And that was also, so you got, interesting. So you also have got someone in China who can also make those products for you.
Yes,
So
I
look, it's super interesting. So it's not only that you've got one
not the
and you
same.
rely But it's okay, intriguing. Okay.
I met the guy. I did the PGA show in Vegas. I don't know, 4 years ago ish, 4.5 years ago. And there was this really dapper older gentleman, and he came up to me and he said, "I love what you're doing.
Hmm.
There will come a time when someone says, your wholesale price is what I retail the ties for. Here is my card." And I was like, "No, no, no, I don't. No, thank you." He's like, "Take it. One day you'll need me." And I reached out. That was August. I reached out in October and I said, "Boots of London and Walgreens wants, 10,000 ties and they need it in 3 weeks. And it's,
Mm.
can you do it?" And he's like, "I always say yes." So that's his motto. He always says yes. He actually, I haven't seen him in a long time. He came to the opening in East Hampton.
Hmm.
But, their stuff is okay. But
yeah. But his most
not,
important thing is for them, price obviously must have been right for them to say, okay, for that price, we understand that what we need really is to make sure that actually they're going to be delivered on time. That was probably more important. That they are wearable, that they can, it's so important because so many people are just promising and then obviously not delivering, and they're winning contracts on the back off.
oh yeah,
Sort of the
in
yeah.
Italy obviously is, on their own timeline. I'm like, "Oh, this was supposed to ship," and they're like,
Maybe. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
frustrating
Yes.
sometimes.
Oh, you mean this Thursday? Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. So, some more lines, more shows, more stockist. Do you think 2018? You're still going to
I
be?
Yes. So
Yeah.
I just started doing Nordstrom's, but I only do
Well done.
Nordstrom's online
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to deal with having to pay, for whatever didn't sell, having to pay penalties, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to worry about it. So
Mm-hmm.
online is,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I sell like four to
How
five
did
times.
you get in touch with them, or did they get in touch with you again?
Oh my goodness. This one I really tried.
There you
This one
go.
I reached out at the beginning,
Uh-huh.
and it was when I was at my first trade show, the men's show,
Mm-hmm.
and I had 6 different ties, and I put them flat on the table, and I'm like, "But I could also do these in bow ties and pocket squares. No, I don't have a sample of these, but I can." And everyone was looking at me like I was nuts.
Yeah.
That was a learning experience.
Uh-huh.
And, so the guy came from Nordstrom's, and I'd emailed him and he was like, "Oh, you have a ways to go, but cool concept." And every, twice a year, 3 times a year, I'm like, "This is what I have. This is what's new in all this time. Cool, cool." And then he visited me at my last men's show I did. And he's like, "You're almost there."
Mm-hmm.
And I reached out a couple times, didn't hear back. And finally last September,
Mm-hmm.
he reached out and he's like, "We're ready for you now."
Wow. Okay.
That took so many years. Oh my God.
Overnight success.
And then after all that, I was like, "No, I don't like your terms for the stores. I don't want it." And I walked
Uh-huh.
away. And then they came back and they said, "We'll do online."
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
'Cause I
Are we
don't want
talking
my
about thousands that they took from you to have in stock, or do you drop ship, or do they have in their stores?
drop ship.
Right. Okay.
No, I drop ship.
Okay.
Because I don't want anything to go on sale because, the
Yeah.
chick magnet can't go on sale. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
They repeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And luckily, I don't have very many that don't sell.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 styles from the beginning that didn't sell. I gave them to my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, he was a smoker. So I said, "Give them to your smoker friends. I don't want to look at this tie anymore." It was from Barney's at the beginning. It was neon green with Bic lighters on it. It was just, and they picked the colors of it. So I was like, "I just want to see this tie get
Okay.
over."
Okay. Okay. Are you going to be seeing someone wearing that tie and it's like, oh, this is not my tie. I don't want to. No, I don't.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Good. So you in more stores, big, obviously, recognizable brands, something that people can relate to as well. And I guess there must be some sort of a accomplished feeling, proud moments, something that you think and see, and sort of keep you going, in those obviously tough times. What would you say would be the sort of the highlights? There's something that you like, that was a good decision. Like, yeah, I want to share that with everyone. What would that be? Is there any one moment?
Not particularly one moment. I guess when my show aired on
Uh-huh.
CNBC, that was amazing.
Uh-huh.
That was such an amazing feeling, and I won't give you a spoiler for the show, but the ending was just like, I watch it and I'm not a crier, even though I cried 3 times on the show, literally. But I watch it and I sit in my apartment and I'm just like crying. I'm just like, I am so proud.
Wow.
And boy, was that moment heated right before he made the decision and all that stuff. But that was definitely my proudest moment. You know, walking up and seeing my sign on the East Hampton store this weekend was, you know, great. But obviously there's a lot of uncertainty with that. And then, you know, I made $25,000 more this holiday market than my first holiday market the year before. So hoping that, you know, I'll make even more this time.
Yes. Are you putting all the money back into the business, or are you trying to live off that, or what's this sort of, how obviously you live in your life without that money? Because that's interesting. Also, people who start in the brand having some sort of either 2 jobs, and then that passion is one, or they if they do the switch, then of course they have to live off that, and then the money has to support the business as well as support them. How do you cope with that?
Luckily, I have a very generous fiance who pays for our apartment and you know, whatever else. But I had my best friend help me at the very beginning for my fiance and I got back together. That's a story for another day. And so he was able to, you know, because my mom doesn't love my business. So she was like, if you fail, you have to come back to San Francisco.
And do the law, yes.
Do the law. No, never. So I just, you know, it's just a matter of bootstrapping. So it's like the more money that comes in, now I can do all these things.
Jesus, love it.
I can't take it out and then spend it on rent. Nothing will happen. I'll just be, you know, flat. I mean, there are times that I wish that, you know, there was more money coming in so I could take part of it out and, you know, not like get a heart attack when I see bills and everything. But hopefully the time will come for that. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just keep going. I don't know.
I mean, because obviously the plan is to do what? Have you got a certain amount in your head that when you reach that you're going to be okay, or is it you know, there must be some sort of not end goal, but at least some sort of avenue that you want to, you know, pursue. Obviously, what we said about more stockists and things like that, but that's just the process. What's going to be that feeling when you're going to be like, yeah, I'm satisfied now in a way that, okay, this can run on the sort of autopilot if you want, you know, and I can start maybe not looking elsewhere, but start into maybe other avenues, grow in other parts of a business, you know, maybe shoes or whatever else, right, from Italy. And before you know, it's going to be like the brand, right? It's not going to be only, you know, for men and women accessory, but all of a sudden, you know, like suits, like this is things what I started doing when sort of my business started to sort of go on autopilot a bit. And I'm like, oh, what else can I do? And I started to do made-to-measure suits, right? So is there anything like that that you think is coming?
Not yet. Socks are relatively new and women's scarves are relatively new.
Nice.
And the socks are really popular. They're made in Peru, on Peruvian Pima cotton. And I started making them, well, the samples in Italy and a different mill. And they just weren't good enough.
Right.
And believe it or not, this mill in Peru, you just touch the socks and they're just so soft, so amazing.
Magnificent.
It's perfect. So just, I think, coming up with new ideas for the things that I have, growing more into other stores, you know, I don't know. It's tough. You know, the showroom in Atlanta, I hope will be a good decision. I just want to, like I said in the Starter Store interview, like, I don't want to say no to anything, really. I want to say yes to everything and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, you know, I've been burned a few times, learn from it, and take those lessons. But, you know, I'm not really going to get anywhere just by saying no and, you know, not taking the chance. You got to take the chance. Otherwise, I would have never started with with Barney's or with anything. And I never thought I would be where I am now. I sort of just looked at it as like a hobby or this like pipe dream thing. You know, so when the numbers changed drastically last year, you know, I was sort of like, this is actually a thing now. This is actually, you know.
Wow.
So I just keep doing, you know, and I keep getting, you know, mills in China, and they're like, oh, we saw you on LinkedIn. We can do what you're doing, and you can save 75%. And I'm like, that's not the point. I started with you to begin with. So just trying to
Yeah.
just keep to the, like the values and
Mm-hmm.
everything that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Hope, you know.
Are you thinking of employing someone as well at any point? Is that this sort of growth that you see as well? I mean, assistants, I don't know, whoever creates the content, for you, so you are more out there, and are you thinking of that as well?
Not yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit, it's sort of like my child and I don't want to hand it off to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
there are times where I am so busy and, I will work from 8 a.m. until, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. and I don't have a second. And then there are times where I'm just not that busy and
Mm-hmm.
it is on autopilot. Like right now, I'm sort of on autopilot, not the
Mm-hmm.
second, but when I get off the phone. So
Yes.
until there are days where every day is busy, jam-packed like that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not hiring anybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Especially when I don't get a salary. So
Mm-hmm.
that will have to wait. I do
Sure.
hire hourly help part time for the holidays. Since I do two at a time, I can't be two places at
Of
once.
course, yeah, yeah. That's interesting. Okay.
Um,
Someone who
and
basically minds your stand or sells that for you at another event, right? Okay.
yeah, and sometimes I have two people, probably going to do a third. There's one lady that I'm not particularly happy with.
Mm-hmm.
um, like she disappears for 45 minutes at a time,
Mm.
and there's like a line outside, and I'm like, what's happening? And my
Yeah.
neighbors are like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, just finding, and just finding someone who cares as much as I care. It's impossible. It's
Mm.
absolutely impossible.
But yeah, I don't think we should expect that from people, right? We shouldn't expect from
Sure.
someone to sort of come in and sort of have the same level of enthusiasm and care for the
I have one guy
slightest.
who I think cares more than I do.
Really?
He's amazing. He comes early, he stays late, he's organizing everything. He's like, you messed the display up. You have to keep it like this. And I'm like, it is like that. He's like, no, it's not. He's an absolute perfectionist. If
Okay.
I could hire him in real life, I would hire him
Yes.
in a second.
Good. Right. Let's make sure that he doesn't find a job at Nordstrom or something like that before.
He found a job. He found a job. That's the problem. He
Jeez.
found a
Okay.
job with another brand because I
Okay.
have nothing right now
Yeah.
for him.
Well, I
But
mean, it is what it is, but it's amazing to sort of have help. I mean, I have got an assistant right now, part time, but she's doing lots of my content, lots of Instagram, lots of daily vlogs that we sometimes do when we go out there and meet people and shake hands and doing deals and things like that. And it's amazing to see how much people are interested in what you do. Like if you're not showing what you do every day because you're kind of shy and don't want to show, like people are there on Facebook to watch you or on Instagram. They're going to be following you because they want to follow the story. How amazing would be if they could follow the journey from you where you are right now to be, £250,000 a month, and how does that change your life? And how does that, and you're looking back at those videos, 3 years from now, and you're gonna be like, shit, look at me there. I was thinking I'm the greatest. Look at how many like it would be amazing to have someone like that following along, every now and again, or
oh, for sure.
whenever.
And my Instagram and stuff,
Mm,
I have a friend who his business is managing Instagram and Twitter and all that.
mm,
But I really like doing it myself.
mm,
And mine is more of a lifestyle. It's not
hmm.
just ties and socks. It gets
Correct.
old.
Yes.
So mine's like, this is what I made for dinner last night.
Yes.
These are a million pictures from my travels.
Mm-hmm.
This is me wedding dress shopping.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing. Lots of cocktails because that fits in
Mm-hmm.
very well with the
Mm-hmm.
brand.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
On the quest for the perfect bloody. So I just sort of try
Mm.
and make it, more personal so people are invested and, don't get bored with just, I've seen this tie before. It should
Yeah, it's true. True, true, true. Good, good, very good. Again, it was such a pleasure to talk to you because you're obviously full of enthusiasm. You know what you're doing. You've been on this journey for a long time for a business. Many businesses don't succeed, don't go over 2 or 3 years without extra capital or without investments and things like that. Yet you've sort of managed to show us how it's done. So well done.
well,
Keep on
I'm
doing.
still learning.
Yes, I mean, aren't
It's
we all? Aren't we all the time? Like, it's never the journey never stops, right? The sort of it never. I mean, someone said to me, "Oh, you should write a book." I was like, "Apart, like my life is not going to end. Like,
you
there's
should.
so much
Somebody
story there, it, like hasn't been told yet, So we need to obviously keep doing what we're doing and see what happens."
for sure.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. We're going to obviously link to everything that you do. Definitely the Reddit post because it's amazing. It's a fantastic read, and your responses are very genuine. And that's also what caught my eye straight away. I was like, I want to talk to you because your responses in the comments below showed me that you a care, but also you were very honest. Like, this sucks. This doesn't work, and I fucked up there, and I didn't do this right. And it's like, Jesus, okay, very, 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 very open, which is very good because that's what we need, I think, in our worlds. But it's yes, so I'll link to that. Where else people find you? What is the best way? Obviously, website. Anything else that you wanna point people
Website,
to?
lazyjackpress.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything is at Lazy Jack Press. Oh, I also have Pinterest. The one
Oh,
thing I don't have is Snapchat. I'm
okay.
not
I
doing
haven't
it.
got a Snapchat either. No. Pinterest. What happens? What happens on Pinterest? Any good
Nothing.
activities? Nothing.
I pin the recipes I want to try.
Right. Okay. Okay.
And wedding decorations, but it's I have things for ties, and you're
Yeah.
supposed to be on Pinterest, so I'm doing
You
it.
you
But
there, right? No, because
I
I
don't know
thought,
who does.
as a lady, I thought you're going to be sort of instinctively really know better Pinterest than any other platform because it's just how it's like me pinning
Dumb.
something. I never pin anything to anything, but
It's
ladies
dumb.
sometimes do. So no, okay, that's
Now, all
fine.
my friends do. They have a million,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
folders for
Yes,
every
everything.
day of the week. I have one for ties and bow ties and a couple other things on there, and but I have it at
Good,
Lazy Jack Press.
good.
But no Snapchat and no plans on being on Snapchat
No plans
at
on
any
being
point in
Snapchat. No,
time.
no, that's me. That's me the same. Brilliant. I had a fantastic time. Listen, we talked for more than an hour. I wasn't.
Oh my
Well,
God,
I mean, yeah, yeah.
totally.
So of course that's going to be a long episode, but that's good. I love those
Hopefully, it's
episodes
worth
when
it.
we sort of tell a story about how you got started, but also what people can do if they ever interested in that. Because opening a sort of business, setting up a website, being on those trade shows, being on showing off what you've produced is not that difficult. All you have to do is make something and then see if people like it. And if they don't, maybe that's not a business for you. But it's
Just gotta
not.
try it.
Yeah, you have to try this, and that's absolutely true. And we'll see what happens. So thank you so much again. We no doubt we're
Thank
going
you
to be
so
in
much
touch
for
again.
having
No
me.
doubt I'm going to be following you. I'm going to be commenting on every
Yes, me
post.
too. I
Uh,
love your outfit. I have to
Good,
say, your
good,
outfit is
good, good.
amazing.
Thank you so much, darling. Thank you so much. I'll link all those things that we talked about in the show notes so you can see. It's going to be on podcast, YouTube, and also no doubt we're going to do some Insta story as well with you and your brand as well. Brilliant. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.